And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and I run it back coach didn't take the biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling. We're live, local on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. We're expanding our coverage to better serve you. You can also call us and get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. You can also send your comments, your reactions, your questions, your thoughts all to us in the live stream chat. And you can find the live stream at the Martin Houston 35, Martin Houston 35 fan page on Facebook, Martin Houston 35 on YouTube and Twitter. Also, MaX Sports and X's and O Sports on Facebook, and MaX Sports. MaX Recruiting, MaX_recruiting on Twitter. So lots of ways to get in, interact with us, let us know what's going on in your world. We're glad to have you up and at it with us each and every morning. Glad to make you a part of the program. Either way you interact with us, we'll make you a part of the program. It's a third Saturday in October, free-for-all Friday. We got our score prediction contest with Bama rushing yards as the tiebreaker. We got keys to victory as part of the conversation. We'll also look at player of game candidates who you think will be players of the game for Alabama. So you can get us that conversation. Please do so with the best way you can as far as interaction. And also, excuse me, we can, kind of go where you want since it's a free-for-all Friday. We'll also do a little inside the playbook. We looked at Fear the Legs of of Milton. Man, I hope that there's a radio guy somewhere X doing Fear the Legs of our quarterback. And, Milton or Milrow, which leg should you fear more? Right now, based on results, is the legs of Milton you should fear more, but reality, you should fear the legs of Milrow even more. But that's not the case based on how the OCs have used them. And we'll talk about that in the keys to victory. We may look at that 84-yard record-setting run by Joe Milton. Not that he's the fastest guy, but when you set things up properly, speed is not always what's required. Sometimes it's just a matter of how you maneuver or manipulate the defense. And then we started the conversation, and I'm going to pick it up there on this pass blocking as in Hey Coach yesterday. Coach Nick Saban defending the young guy and talking about whether or not you can't expect to replace a draft pick, a first-round draft pick, and this draft pick with the guy that's already ready to be a first-round draft pick. That's true. But by now, there's a scripture, Xavier, in Ephesians that said, by now you ought to be. But by now you ought to be teachers, etc., but you still have need for milk. You still on that baby, milk, and I just can't tell you. Sometimes I think we're still on that baby stuff, but remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. So go ahead and interact with us once again. What's the best way to interact with us? 205-342-9904, or based on which live stream you're in, you need to get get in on the conversation that way. But without without even thinking through it, X, I have to just do this in honor of it being the third Saturday in October. A little bit of this right here.
Man, I hate Tennessee because first of all, it's Tennessee, and I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches, and I hate Philip Farmer. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, and I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention, and I hate all their quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man.
Describe what you feel about their colors too. I thought that was interesting.
It reminds me, and it's not that orange that you can stand. See, I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors is that throw up orange. It's not that orange that you can sit with. It's that puke inside of a pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough, man. And they losers. They sore losers because they're not Alabama, and I hate Tennessee, man.
That was beautiful, man.
So how you feeling about Tennessee this morning? I mean, that is the classic. X, how you feeling about Tennessee this morning?
Oh man, I feel it was funny right as the show was getting ready to start. Uh, One of the things that we heard from a clip from Barry and Coach Anderson's show is Alabama seeking revenge on Tennessee. That is something I have not heard since I was 16 years old. And I'm 32 now, married 7 years, two kids. Just hearing that don't sit right with me anymore. Alabama seeking revenge on Tennessee, man, that's not normal. That's not right. Now, growing up, before that point in time, middle school, started high school, that was normal to hear. But now as an adult, that just sounds weird.
Yeah, it's
Seeking
kind of.
revenge on Tennessee?
Think about this. There are kids who are going into their junior year of high school in Knoxville, and this is the first year they've come into the game going, hey, we can beat Alabama again. They never experienced beating Alabama till last year. They literally started their school career. I mean, I went from having kids in high school, uh, all of my kids in high
Get it
school.
home.
No, that's what I'm saying. All my kids in high school are under, to having 3 grandkids, uh, 4 with 1 in heaven. And so I went through that whole process, and one of them being 8 years old almost before Tennessee beat Alabama. That
Right.
kind of, and I had hair, and it was all black. So that
Dude, I got
just,
gray hair now.
yeah, that tells you just how crazy it is. So absolutely crazy. I do want to get to this blocking scheme, and I have been talking about it. Uh, so I'm gonna uh, talk about it, but I want to play Coach Saban one more time. Pat, I'm gonna get you on the other side so that you can have time. But I want to bring this up one more time. Nick Saban addressing blocking scheme, guys, and this is so important. He got questioned about the offensive line last night, but listen to Coach Saban. He, in an earlier clip, a question on Wednesday, he had talked about hand placement and footwork. This one is talking scheme. As a matter of fact, let's do it another way. Let's do it a different way. Let's go ahead and get Pat in, and then open and answer the blocking scheme on the other side. That way we don't have to rush that scheme. Pat, you're in with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904. What's your comments for us? Hold on, Pat. Tennessee wears orange. Why?
Tennessee wears orange so that they can play.
No.
They pick up garbage during the week. They wear those same clothes to the football game, and then they go hunting on Sunday because they want to stink real bad.
What you got for us, Pat?
Hey, Martin, I have the answer to Coach Saban's situation on these sacks. He needs to bring in Martin Houston as a expert analyst on how to block that, how to teach his whenever his pitiful offensive line misses a player, how to get the back to pick up the block and save Jalen's butt so he can complete a pass. But Martin Houston was a very, very good blocker, and he understands how to teach the tight ends and the tackles to block and hit them just a little bit. You just got to get them out of the way. You ain't got to be able to murder ball them. I mean, it'd be nice if we could do what we said we were going to do, murder ball. What happened to that work?
You know what, Pat? I was a lot of times the fullback when I was the fourth or fifth read most of the time. If we had 5 guys in the route, if I wasn't the fifth read and I was the extra blocker. When I was the fifth read, you know what I had time to do? Think about this for a second.
Probably had time to knock the crap out of a linebacker.
Or help to tackle. What's the rush? If I'm the fifth read, what's the rush to get into my route? How long does it take the quarterback to get to the fifth read? 3 seconds? Maybe 4?
2.5 to 3.5 for sure.
At least, Pat. 1,001, first read. 1,002, 1,003, 1,004. That's when you see a quarterback patting the ball in his hands, that's his reads. When the guys are really good, go back and watch Gary Hollingsworth. He would boom, boom. He was reading and going, that guy's not there, that guy's not there, that guy's not there, that guy's not there, that guy's not there. What good is it to get out in the route as the fifth guy if the quarterback only has 2 seconds to throw the ball? Yeah. So block the guy.
Yeah.
So help out, even if the coaches don't tell you to. I was not told to help the tackle out a lot of times. I would just be going on my way to my route and would hit the guy with my right hand. The coaches, you don't have to be told. If you're a running back coming out of that backfield and you're running by and you see that left tackle getting beat, chuck the shoulder of that guy so that the tackle can block him. What difference does it make if you get out in the route? He's going to be sacked.
Yeah. Morgan, can you tell our listeners in 1990 how many, after the first 7 minutes of the ball game, when we were down 21-0 down at War Memorial Stadium in Jackson, Mississippi, how many different reads was Gary Hollingsworth able to make before he threw the ball? All I know is he threw for about 64 unanswered points.
He went through his progression and he would hit the second, third, fourth window. Pat, hold on, because I know you got a prediction score. We'll get it coming back out of the break. All right, come back on the other side. Come back on the other side. We'll keep the conversation going. Pat's going to get his score prediction in. If you want to get yours in, the way to do that is on the Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904. Or you can post your comments and your scores on the live chat. We'll be back in just a moment right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks as we begin our Friday morning. Minor congestion on Lurleen and Northport and University Boulevard near Crescent Ridge Road in Cottondale. If you see other conditions, just give me a call. These are super offers from Townsend Nissan. 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
This month at Pearl River Resort, we're giving away a Curtis Stone cookware set. This 6-piece collection includes everything you need to cook up your favorite fall recipes and game day classics. Earn points Fridays and Saturdays in October to receive a unique piece of the set each week. Score big every time at Pearl River Resort. Must be 21 or older to play.
Hey, SEC fans, gear up for the big game in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Academy Sports and Outdoors and SEC Nation will be on site bringing all the fun. Visit the Academy section on site and have a chance to win cool prizes plus gift cards. Academy Sports and Outdoors is the proud official sporting goods and outdoor retailer of the SEC. SEC Nation will be set up at Wade Hall on the University of Alabama campus. The show will be from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. on Saturday. So come on out and see Laura Rutledge, Paul Feinbaum, Heisman Trophy winner Tim Tebow, former Bama and NFL star Roman Harper, along with Jordan Rogers. He's Aaron's brother, you know. Come see us Saturday. And always remember, Academy Sports and Outdoors is the proud official sporting goods and outdoor retailer of the SEC.
Tuscaloosa Locksmith does general locksmith work, laser engraving, and makes keys. They sell safes, key remotes, remote fobs, and smart keys. Tuscaloosa Locksmith, just off 15th Street behind the fire station.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky partly to mostly sunny today. The high for this afternoon around 77. Mostly fair tonight, the low 49. Tomorrow sunny and very mild, the high 79. And Sunday, another mostly sunny day, the high Sunday, 73. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 59 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Back into Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. Hey, it's a Friday, free for all Friday. Hey, go check out Billy's Cooking Restaurant. Billy's Cooking Restaurant. Get your wings ordered up today. Call them at 205-632-8617. 205-632-8617. Or just drop by 3702 Alabama Avenue Northeast, just across from the old Holt High School. Open Wednesday through Sunday at 11 a.m. And pick up that wing tray for your game day specials. And they'll take care of you. Tell them that Martin Houston told you to stop by. All right. Hey, we're taking score predictions today with the Bama rushing yards. I got to find just tell them that Martin Houston told you to stop by, but get your score prediction in. Tiebreaker is rushing yards for Bama. MHS 0407 said there's a video interviewing the young man that we have in that video. I'm going to see if I can find that before the show's out. They say he still hates Alabama. Irvin Carney. I'm going to see if I can find that video. So if I can, I'll play with and see what he has to say now. And MHS 0407 said he still hates Tennessee. So we'll see if we can find that. Pat, you're in with Martin and Xavier. What's your score, sir?
31-21. And you said total rushing yards for Alabama?
Yes, sir.
165.
All right, 165. All right. All right. Appreciate you, sir. Thanks.
Have a blessed day, fellas.
Have a blessed day. All right. X, when you're talking through this whole entire thing, situation with Alabama, man, it's kind of frustrating watching Alabama as a whole, but we've been talking about it, but we really haven't gone into this in depth yet. So I'm going to play Nick Saban's audio in terms of him talking about the blocking scheme. We'll dig into that a little bit in the inside the playbook. I also think this video I'm about to play is an inside the playbook and a keys to victory, both in one segment. Here's Coach Nick Saban answering a question when he was asked about dealing with sacks and whether or not he's concerned. And of course, he had a very colorful answer, but then he began to explain scheme. And it makes you wonder, is Proctor and or the other guys having an issue with communication or with coaching scheme? What's going on with the blocking? Here's Coach Nick Saban as he has that conversation or responds to that question.
Well, to the first part of your question, I mean, there's little things like in certain protections, I know I have inside help. So why would I get beat outside? Does that make sense? So these are not all capability issues. You know, some of them are things that we could fix. You know, when we're sliding out to block 3-on-3 and the guy doesn't slide out to block the third guy and he runs in and sacks the quarterback, you know, that's a mental error. That's not a physical problem. So it's a combination of all those things that need to get cleaned up with better communication, better execution, and maybe the more knowledge and experience that we get, the more we'll be able to be more effective and consistent in those areas.
All right. Coach Nick Saban, their ex, I'll let you respond first, but he said several things. He talked about scheme, and then his last few words there, he says, "When more knowledge and experience we get there, maybe the more consistent we'll get there." Let's address the blocking scheme that he addressed. The first blocking scheme he addressed was if you have inside help, why would you ever get beat outside? I'll let you respond there first.
No, I mean, he's correct. If you got inside help, you always know somebody's going to be there. And if so, you're pushing, the line's pushing left, pushing right, whichever end you're on. You know that guy on the inside is going to be able to double team, get a hand on the guy that is inside of you. So you focus on the closest outside threat. And if you're able to get your hands on him and push him out, stonewall him, whatever it takes, you're in good shape. And then as we were talking about with the running back in that situation, running back, man, if you're on that side, chip that guy, give that tackle enough time to get his feet set out there and be able to take that guy one-on-one in those situations.
Yeah, first thought is why would you have inside help? You know, think through this. If you're listening right now, if there's inside help, that inside help 99.99% of the time is going to be the guard. It could be that they have a running back staying in to help, but 99% of the time it's going to be the guard that's helping you. So let me help you set up. You're the left tackle, the left guard. In this case, put names and jerseys on. If you're Proctor and Booker, there's a nose tackle on McLaughlin. There's a linebacker, either off the ball or no linebacker at all, no threat for the inside guy. Or if the linebacker blitz, that's the running back's guy. Okay. And you may say, well, what if there's an outside linebacker? Well, that outside linebacker could be the quick read for the quarterback. That could be his guy. And then the defensive tackle is head up to outside or head up to inside on the tackle. At the snap, the left tackle should fan or step out. Why? Because he has help to the inside. So if he takes a step to the inside, he just gave a short corner to the pass rusher, and he has no help. Why does he not have any help? Because either there's no running back to his side, the running back has the outside guy who's blitzing, or the running back has the linebacker in the middle who's blitzing. The guard is his help. So if he steps to the left, let's say he steps and overcompensates to the outside, and the guy beats him to the inside, what happens? Booker crushes him.
Mm-hmm.
Booker's there waiting on him to make a move or spin or roll to the inside to crush him. So he's there. So the left tackle, you watch Proctor, he takes baby steps on his kick. And I don't know if that's because he's so big. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he didn't do a lot of pass blocking, but his kick is not very big. So he needs to kick back and out, especially to make the pocket deep and wider when he has inside help. Not just back, he can kick out and back when he has inside help. Because
when you have that inside help and you get that big enough kick, you're forcing that guy to go back inside to your help. But with his small kick, his baby step, you're allowing that guy to still have that edge, which makes his path to the quarterback easier. Like as we talked about the other day, quarterback has a set drop. Most quarterbacks do. You can figure out where their landing spot is most of the time, depending if it's a 3, 5, 7-step drop. If that outside guy can stay pretty much in line with your depth because you're not kicking back, he doesn't ever have to roll back inside because you're creating almost a straight line, even if he has to fight through you a little bit to the quarterback.
And if you make the right pocket depth based on you knowing whether it's a 3, 5, like if it's a 3-step drop, then you don't want to go too far back because you could give them an inside pocket. If it's a 5-step, it's a little bigger kick. If it's a 7-step, it can be a little bigger. And then what you want to do as that tackle is you want to drive him up above the pocket. You don't want him, you want to drive him up above the pocket because the quarterback can step up and then back out and still be deep enough to make and not be past the line of scrimmage, not be too tight, etc. So that's number one. That's the number one thing. If you got inside help, don't get beat inside. Don't get beat outside. If anything, it's almost like playing defense when you're the outside contained guy. The one thing you don't want to do is be an outside contained guy on defense and let the guy beat you outside. Because there's nobody to help you out there but the safety. And against Tennessee, if you get beat outside as a outside contained guy against Tennessee's offense, there's nobody out there because they've ran their DB off. And the DB is 50 yards away because they use the width of the field. So that's number one. We'll come back on the other side and we'll talk about what does he mean on fan? Why is fan different? Isn't it the same technique when you fan, when it's 3-on-3? We'll talk about that on the other side. And this is mission critical. Why is this mission critical? Because Alabama's given up 31 sacks. There's only like 3 teams, maybe 4 teams worse than Alabama at giving up sacks. Alabama's given up 31 sacks in 7 games. 31 sacks in 7 games. Tennessee's gotten over 20 sacks in 6 games because they've had their bye week. So this is good on bad, and we have to be better this week, or it's going to be a long, long day for Jalen Milroe. We'll talk about it on the other side. We'll talk about what does Saban mean when it's one-on-one blocking. Then we'll swap over to what we think the keys to victory are right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports. Hey, remember this. Hey, go out and support Alabama One. Go ahead and get on that getaway giveaway. You can win today. Alabama1.org. Find out how by just clicking on the getaway giveaway banner. It will give you $5,000 for a vacation. Looking for a fall getaway? Be perfect time to do that. Hey, maybe Alabama keep winning and you can use it to get away to wherever, whether you want to go to the first round or the second round of the playoffs. Maybe Alabama will win that for you. We'll talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks as we begin our Friday morning. Minor congestion on Lurleen and Northport and University Boulevard near Crescent Ridge Road in Cottondale. If you see other conditions, just give me a call. These are super offers from Townsend Nissan. 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today. Now in the foot care aisle.
The pandemic is over, but COVID-19 is here to stay. In fact, it's still among the top 5 leading causes of death in the U.S., just after heart disease and cancer. So this fall, stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, just like you do with the flu, because you've got no time for 19. The vaccine may not be for everyone. Please consult with your doctor. Brought to you by Moderna.
All of the West Alabama high school football scores every Friday night all season long on Tide 100.9. High school score updates brought to you by 4th District Congressman Robert Adderholt.
If you fish, make your plans to fish the no-entry fee Inglewood Baptist Church Bass Tournament November the 11th on Lake Tuscaloosa with a $7,000 total purse guaranteed. To register, text your name and partner's full name to 205-792-7398. You can also register at the pre-tournament meeting November the 9th. Both tournament participants must attend the pre-tournament meeting even if you are pre-registered. To register, text your name and partner's full name to 205-792-7398.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-348-9606. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-348-9606 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-348-9606 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-348-9606.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back in, X. Welcome back in, listening audience. Want to remind you to go check out Amazon.com and get the Encouragement Factor. Give Me One More Inch. It's my latest book, my first book, and I will say my latest because I'm working on my second book. But this one is the Encouragement Factor. Give Me One More Inch. If you want to learn how to be a better encourager, then this book will do that. But it also provides some great encouragement as well. Kind of a leadership / devotional as well. Has some great scriptures at the back that deal with encouragement, but has great principles throughout the book that helps you learn how to be an encourager. It teaches you the difference between praise and encouragement. You may think they're the same, but they're not. There's power in teaching people to give their max and giving 100%. We had this thing, I give 110%. Well, the reality of it is most of us don't give more than we usually keep some in reserve. We give about 75, 80% when we're maxing out, unless someone encourages us to give a little bit more. Think about that mom that picks up the thing that falls on her baby. She just had that in reserve. You can do the same. Become the encouraging king in your office, your workplace, or your family. The encouragement factor. Give me one more inch. You can find it at Amazon.com. Right now, it's on sale. Introductory price of $7.77. That's the introductory price. Of course, I chose that intentionally. 7 is the number of completion, and it took me a while to get that book completed, but it is finally done. So right now it's just in digital form, but I got my physical copy supposed to be delivered today. So once I make sure that it's all set, you'll be able to get a paperback version of it as well. But if you like the Kindle version, it's already up and available at Amazon.com. All right, X. We'll finish up that conversation around the real quick on the blocking. Saban talked about the 3-on-3 versus the inside help. When it's inside help available, that tend to mean that that either they have like a 3-4 alignment where there's a guard, a nose tackle, a linebacker, and a defensive tackle, but the guard is uncovered. And either they're expecting the linebacker to be in coverage and the running back to be helping out, or they have at least 2 running backs, or they have some type of slot protection. And in the slot protection actually could be where is putting a 3-on-3, the guard, center guard, tackle, sliding out, or it could be, guard, tackle, tight end. If the tight end's in, it could be any combination, but anyway, they've identified 3 rushers and there's a slot protection. But that means what? Man-on-man blocking. And he's saying that there's still, if you don't get that slot call, there's a problem. What do you think's happening there when you think about this Alabama team?
There's a breakdown in the communication if that's consistently being missed. And we don't know if it's because it's not being relayed. Don't know if it's because one of the guys doesn't grasp who he's getting in the slide. It can be a multiple thing, but at this point in the season, that communication should be solidified. It doesn't matter if it's a young guy in there or not. If you're saying, hey, slide, that just means bump out to the next guy. It should be simple, but for some reason,
yeah, and that's the key is, and I think it's twofold. One is, hey, at when you first come to the line, what's going on? You pick it out and you kind of know, okay, 1, 2, 3. We got slide protection. It's communicated. What happens when they move? What happens when they shift? You notice Texas A&M was moving. And what would happen, guys, when Texas A&M moved? Pre-snap penalties. And Jordan Roberts, Jordan Roberts' first start, maybe he was getting kind of janky, whatever word you want to use there, and a little nervous because his man moved, okay? Dupree, maybe he couldn't hear the relay of the protection or whatever, or maybe he was trying to reset. I don't know, but sometimes that's what's happening. Sometimes there's a communication problem. And with our center having the snap issues he's had, I could see that being a problem. But he's saying that they're not fanning out. Once again, guys, all of these equal short corners. If there's a 3-on-3 and the guys don't fan out, they stumble over each other. Let's say it's a 3-on-3 and the center fans and the guard doesn't fan, then guess who hits who? The center hits the guard. And when the he hits the guard, then the guard man comes free. If it's the center and the guard both fan out and the tackle don't fan out, then the guard's in the way and he hits him, and then the tackle guys come free. If the center don't fan, then the guy comes straight up the middle. So either way, bad communication leads to immediate sacks. And then once again, back to the left tackle, right tackle, whoever it is, because it's happening on both sides and up the middle, et cetera, is that if you don't take the proper footwork, all three of those go to work together. If you have the proper footwork, but you don't know what the blocking scheme is, it doesn't matter. If you have the proper footwork, the proper scheme, and your hands are on your hips or low, watch how often defenders slap at guys' hands. They have moves. They have the hammer where they slap their hands down. They have the moves where they swing their hands up, and they kind of split their hands out to expose, and then they'll punch them in the chest to knock them off balance and just drive them back. They have the move where they slap with their right hand and swim over. They have it where they push with both hands just to push them sideways. All of those things are to mess up their footwork and their hand, even when they have the right scheme. So every play, they're trying to do footwork, hand placement, and scheme. And is it too big for the freshman? Is it too big for this offensive line? Are they too slow? I don't know what it is, but I can tell you this: they better have all three of those working on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, this offensive line, I really thought was going to be a strong suit this season, and it's been a frustrating first 7 weeks of the season. But it's not something that Alabama can't fix. It's not something that they can't improve with. It's just when it comes down to it, the offensive line is technique, footwork, it's communication, is working as a unit. And I believe this offensive line can do it. Do we have the right group of guys in? Are we finally settling on that? What's going to happen? Terrence Ferguson is supposed to be back this week. What changes have been made to make this unit a more functioning, smooth unit?
And I think this unit, and Jed, we're coming to you right after this statement. I think this unit can, without a doubt, do it. I think this offensive line can still become a strong point. The problem is this: you have to run plays to fit the strength. Don't try to make, no matter how big a bird an ostrich is, it can't fly. I'm going to just let y'all noodle on that for a second. Did you hear me? I don't care how big a bird an ostrich is, it can't fly. Tommy Reese, I don't care how big a bird is, how big a bird an ostrich is, it can't fly. But that joker can flat out run. So this offensive line showed in that first drive against Arkansas that they could run the ball. Let's see if they can run it. And then guess what? Maybe you start using it. That'll slow down that that defensive pass rush, and then you can all of a sudden find yourself throwing some nice pass protection in front of Jalen Milroe. Jed, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with your score prediction. What you got for us, sir?
Hey, I've got Alabama 27, Tennessee 17.
All right. What's the rushing yards?
183.
All right. I like those numbers. Want to get up in that range. Anything else you got before I let you go, sir?
And player of the game on defense, I think it should. Caleb Downs will be defensive player.
Okay.
And I think the offensive line at some point in time in the game will have a big drive to secure the win for Alabama. So I'm going to go with the offensive line.
You the man, Jed. I like the way you thinking. Thanks, Jed.
Jed, Jed stole my prediction and my total rushing yards. So I have to switch it up
You
a
have
little
to change
bit.
it up, Jed. Beat you to the punch. Thanks, Jed. Robert from Mobile, you're in on the Alabama One hotline. What's your score, sir? What else you got for us?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm. The fact that we are still not able to predict over 30 points against a very average Tennessee team That sure speaks a lot of volumes. The teams a couple of years ago would have mopped up the floor with this Tennessee team.
And Robert, do we have the offensive players to do that?
Yeah,
I think we do.
I think we can. I think we do. Yeah, yes.
I think if I think if we call a solid offensive game consistent for 4 quarters, I think this team can get in the 30s and maybe even the low 40s.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything that says we can call it a 4-quarter game.
This speaks volumes as to what we think of this team this season. That's wow. You guys are totally right about the guard. I mean the left tackle, and what Nick Saban said. I thought the same thing. Is okay. Well, yeah, you shouldn't be getting beaten outside, and it's. Why isn't that happening? Like you said, Martin. Okay, why isn't that happening yet?
I mean, 7 games in, and you can't coach a kid to do that. Then maybe it is talent. I mean, ability.
Well, he said mental. What Nick Saban thinks is mental. Which in that case, he's right. I mean, you're okay. All you gotta do is go further out. That's not talent there. Anybody can do that. Okay. Hopefully we'll get it together. Man, I'm gonna predict over 30
go
points.
for it. Go for it.
Try to give me over 30 points. I'll go 35-20.
You the man. How many rushing yards?
Well, if I'm predicting 35, I guess I'm predicting a good running.
That's right.
I'm going to go 205. I'm going to go.
You the man. Thanks, Robert. Hopefully we'll be talking about that on Monday. All right. Hey, listen. Maybe you need to put this guy on the bench to start a game. Because I'm going to tell you, Jalen Hurts' greatest growth, and the reason, and I know a lot of people won't want to hear this. I'm going to tell you what I was thinking about Jalen Hurts and the analysis I can make to maybe what needs to happen to Caden Proctor for one game. I'll tell you what it is on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks as we begin our Friday morning. Minor congestion on Lurleen in Northport and University Boulevard near Crescent Ridge Road in Cottondale. If you see other conditions, just give me a call. These are super offers from Townsend Nissan. 2, 4, 6, 8, up to $10,000 off select Nissans. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good morning. Tuscaloosa City Schools officials have begun making their case for the first property tax increase in the city in 40 years. It would add an additional $100 per $100,000 appraised value. Superintendent Mike Daria tells news partner ABC 3340 without the increase, the system will have to trim back academic programs. If okayed by the city, the Alabama legislature will have to approve before the referendum can go to the city voters. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Catch Christian and Corey Miller every weekday here on Tide 100.9.
Coming up tomorrow on the Miller's Edge is Keys to the Game Thursday. Plus Stephen M. Smith, and the M stands for Miller. He's family. That's coming up tomorrow on the Miller's Edge on the Tide.
Tune in 11 to noon to hear Christian and Corey Miller break down everything from college to the pros on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama sports.
Hi, Barry Buckner here, and I want to say whether you come from T-Town or Birmingham or those sweet home Alabama towns like Utah, Demopolis, Selma, and Centerville, it's an honor and a privilege to have you choose Tuscaloosa Hyundai as your transportation partner. I know those roads. You drove past more than one competitive dealership to get here. So let me say, whatever you need, Tuscaloosa Hyundai is at your service. You want to test drive an electric vehicle? Hyundai Ioniq 5 and 6 are award-winning. Bigger ride for your growing family? Test drive the Palisade. Need a pre-owned vehicle under 100,000 miles? Great choice with our 1,000,000-mile warranty protection, no charge. No matter where you come from, no matter what you need. It's an honor and a privilege to serve friends and family who voted us best of the best. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
They're back. The 2023 Alabama Crimson Tide football season is on Tide 100.9. Saturdays are game day all day, starting with the Tide 100.9 tailgate show, hosted by DC and former Tide star Christian Miller. Listen as they take you to the sideline and the locker room for all the latest game day news and insights that will get every Tide fan ready for kickoff. Don't miss the Tide tailgate show with DC and Christian Miller on Tide 100.9, powered by Pearl River Resort, your destination for casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment. Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
And he is 7-5 in those starts. Milton keeps it. First play. How about Joe Milton? He's at midfield. It's a foot race down the near side. Can anybody catch him? He's to the 10. It's a touchdown, Tennessee.
That was Joe Milton going 81 yards, Xavier. 81 yards for Joe Milton. And that was off of a read option. Keys to victory for Alabama will be to not let that happen for sure. But I also think one of the keys to victory will be how Alabama utilizes the run game and the quarterback run. What are your keys to victory?
Keys to victory for me is it always starts in the trenches. The offensive line, defensive line being able to control the line of scrimmage. It's something that we've been able to get away with a few times, not necessarily doing, but I think that's really important for tomorrow's game. And then as well as overall play calling on the offensive side of the ball, just being consistent in what we're doing and making the right calls in the right moments. If we're dominating on the ground, don't go away from it. Keep it going. If Jalen's hot, keep him hot.
Yeah, and I would say good balance within what you just said. Don't get predictable, meaning that if you watch us, we run the ball on first down, we throw on every second down. We do that 9 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 possessions. We're gonna run it or and then throw it. But here's the thing. Here's my keys to victory. Run the ball effectively and consistently. Take our shots. Meaning use the deep ball as a weapon, don't be afraid to do it early and often. No mistakes, and mistakes for me, that's offense, defense, special teams, penalties, and drop balls. Just play clean football tomorrow against Tennessee, and then stop Milton. Do not let him get hot. The teams that have beat us is when the quarterback has been at his best. Ewers is 20% on deep balls for his career. Against Alabama, he was 75%. Okay. That's the thing I'm talking about. He didn't have an all-world beater game, but in that one area, he was all-world. So, and Otis Hill says, tell our offensive coordinator to run the ball. Tennessee cannot stop us. So there we go. And so that's the key. Who do you have X for player of the game candidates?
Player of the game candidate, I think, is going to be both of our inside linebackers with this run game that Tennessee can bring. I think Deontay Lawson, Tresman Marshall, and then of course you throw in guys like Blackshire and Campbell who will be in relief. Will have to dominate and be able to eat up those inside lanes when they have the opportunity. And offensively, I think it's going to fall on Milroe's shoulders again. I think he's going to have a big game. Doesn't have to be a world beater, but go out there and be consistent. Did throw an interception last week That's great. Had 3 touchdowns. If he can play like that for 4 quarters, Alabama wins this game.
Yeah, and I'll start off on the defensive side of the ball. I think all levels are going to have a really good game. So I'm going to do something a little different for my player of the game. I'm not going to pick a player. I'm going to pick defensive coordinator Kevin Steele, because last year Pete Golding and Saban had no answer. Anytime Tennessee wanted to do something, they did. Okay. And so I think Kevin Steele and his staff will put these players in the right spots, and from front level to back level and everywhere in between, all of these players are going to have to play at a high level, and they will. So that's what I got. From the offensive side, I got running backs in Miro as a combination, because I think the run game is our MVP tomorrow. And we're going to use the pass rush of those outside guys. We're going to hit some big run lanes right off the tackle, right off the guard, and between the tackle and the guard, both with the quarterback pulling it down and running, and our running backs hitting it up in there. X, what you got from your score prediction?
Man, like I said, Jed stole my prediction. So you know what? I'm going to go out there on a limb. I'm going to say 38-21 Alabama and 212 rushing yards.
All right. And I got 31-20. I'm going a little low. I've been going high on the score. Maybe if I go a little lower, it'll be better. I got 31-20, 197. Any thoughts or anything you got? You got about 20 seconds before we get out of here.
Yeah, no, this has been a series of nothing but streaks, but Alabama doesn't allow that to start this weekend. Alabama dominates and comes out on top and is in true driver's seat of the SEC West.
Yep, Alabama takes another big win in the third Saturday in October to start their streak back again under Nick Saban. 16 out of 17 wins. Alabama 31-20, 197. Maybe go ahead and get 200 yards rushing. Hey, we'll be back on Monday as Alabama gets ready for bye week. We'll start the conversation with Kennedy Smith III. We'll talk about midseason grades, rest and recovery for Bama, and we'll look at the SEC as well as the conference sets. Hey, I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Noah Haynes. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Want to invite you to come join us at Harvest Church on Sunday. We'd love to have you where we're loving God, loving people. And as we get out of here, go check out Amazon.com once again and get that book, my book, The Encouragement Factor. Learn how to be a great encourager and make those people in your life a little bit better. Encourage them to give one more inch. We'll catch you on Monday. Roll Tide out there, everybody. Have a blessed, prosperous, and successful day.
A dedication to last throughout the years.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.